Chris Brockman, we had a news update prepared right now, but it's being preempted. And preempted by a Kyler Murray press conference that, based on all accounts on the old Twitter machine, was impromptu. Mm-hmm. He's had enough of people talking about the independent study clause in his contract. Once again, Kyler Murray getting what I thought was something he deserved, being generationally enriched after just 3 years in the NFL, which has been something reserved for a select few. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, most recently, right? And it's dicey because if I'm not mistaken, Goff and Wentz got new contracts real early too, and we all know they wound up getting traded. But it helps the team to get in early too, because right now Josh Allen at $45 million a year, as Joe Banner, our second-hour guest, pointed out, is kind of an annually paid basis bargain right now. And so get in while the getting's good, and Kyler Murray got in while he could after just 3 years, and he still hasn't won a playoff game yet. But we saw the terms of the contract. On an annual basis, he's second best paid. Joe Banner said of his money from the first 3 years of his new money on the contract, it's a terrific deal. And again, he is incredibly talented. And as I said, it was his turn to get paid. And if you think that he's not worth it, too bad. That's the way it works in the NFL. And now the pressure will be on him. And that's the way it was until we learned about an independent study clause in his contract that I've never heard of on any contract for any athlete, let alone one that you're paying $160 million guaranteed to, right? Or, my gosh, where it basically said he's got to 4 hours of every week that they play a game, get on a team-issued tablet with no other second screens. Can't play video games or watch TV shows. I mean, it's literally expressly put into a contract in black and white that you must prove that you are studying outside of the building on the team-approved tablet with no second screens. It's stuff that I tell my children, like, hey, you're on your iPad. You can't watch TV in the iPad at the same time. Get off of one of them. Choose one. And if you don't do your homework, you don't get your allowance.
Or dessert.
In his case, dessert is a guaranteed contract, right? And so I said, it's time to grow up is the phrase that I used for Kyler Murray, because with this information, along with a quote that he told the New York Times last year, that he was blessed with cognitive skills to just go out there and see it before it happens. So I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit there and kill myself watching film. I don't sit there for 24 hours and break down this team and that team and watch every game because in my head I see so much. So with that quote, on top of a Sports Illustrated cover talking about how athletes and video games are becoming one and the same, he's playing video games on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. You marry it all together, and that's why I had the take that I had. Well, the pushback is beginning. Zach Ertz backing his quarterback's play, saying, I don't see he doesn't know our offense or the opposing team's defense. I don't see it. And I'm sure that's what you'll hear nonstop from his teammates. And his coach basically said, I don't feel the need to have to monitor any of my players outside of the building study time. They're professionals. They know how to get ready. Well, we knew Kyler was going to talk. And he stepped to the podium, and this is what he had to say on all the talk about his independent study clause in his contract.
To think that I can accomplish everything that I've accomplished in my career and not be a student of the game and not have that passion and not take this serious is almost, it's disrespectful. And it's almost a joke, It's, to me, it's I'm flattered, I'm honestly flattered that y'all think that at my size I can go out there and not prepare for the game and not take it serious. It's disrespectful. I feel like to my peers, to all the great athletes and great players that are in this league. This game's too hard. To play the position that I play in this league, it's too hard. And I don't do this often. I don't talk about myself, but today I feel like I have to. And so I'm gonna list the accolades. You know, to go 43-0 in high school in Texas. Some are gonna say, "Oh, it's high school. That's cool," but nobody else has done it. Go to college, win the Heisman. Get drafted #1 overall to the NFL. Get drafted #9 overall to MLB. Again, no one's ever done it. Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2-time Pro Bowler. And you know, I'm not 6'7", 230. I don't throw the ball 85 yards. I'm already behind the 8 ball, and I can't afford to take these shortcuts. No pun intended. But you know, those things you can't accomplish if you don't take the game serious, if you don't prepare the right way. And you know, it's like I said, it's laughable.
Okay.
I mean, that was awesome.
It's a great answer.
I mean, he's right.
I detect no lies.
Yeah, he's right.
I understand that. I totally get him saying that it's disrespectful, because it is. But it's in there, and he signed it. Why? If everything was fine from management's point of view, then why did they write it? Again, my bro, who is the best lawyer I know, he's like, the language in there is blunt. It's blunt, so there's no ambiguity about what the team is looking for, which is you're studying extra time. So the question is why was it in there? And Kyler Murray was asked if he feels it was disrespectful for it to be in there and get out.
Ways to watch film, and then, you know, of course, we don't watch film. That's not that doesn't need to be questioned. But it's, again, I refuse to let my work ethic, my preparation be in question. You know, I've put an incomprehensible amount of time and blood, sweat, tears, and work into what I do, whether it's football or baseball. You know, people can't even comprehend the amount of time that it takes to do 2 sports at a high level in college. You know, let alone do it. You know, be the first person to do it ever at my size. It's like I said, this is it's funny, but to those of you out there that believe that I'd be standing here today in front of y'all without having a work ethic and without preparing it, I'm honored that you think that, but it doesn't exist. It's not possible. It's not possible. So that's all I have on that. If y'all want to talk about football or anything else.
Are you mad the team put that in the contract then?
Like I said, if you want to talk about football,
are you mad at that?
Anybody got any football questions?
So he's done talking about it, and that's great. Now it comes time for him to play. I'm telling you, he's now officially one of the top 5 with most pressure on him, although he's made in the shade on his contract. Why was it in there? That's all why is it in there? I honestly had zero thoughts about his work ethic after he signed that contract. And then this contract clause comes out, which means the management team had to feel compelled, the owner or whomever had to feel compelled enough to task the lawyers to come up with this language. As you all know, I've been involved in many negotiations recently. And the back and forth is tiring. It's tiring, and it wears on you. It's just like, can we get this thing done? You know I want to stay, and I know you'd like me to stay. So can we just come to something fair and just put on a piece of paper and let's just be done with it? Because it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of mine. Let's go. So that had to sit there, and it had to be in front of Kyler Murray and explain to him, you signed this, and he might have been just like, I do this anyway, no big deal. Until this stuff comes out. Why was it? That's all I want to know is why was it in there? Because when they signed this contract, what did I say? My first opinion was he deserves it.
He deserved it, yeah.
Okay?
Good on him.
Right.
Right.
He deserves it. And what are the Arizona Cardinals going to do?
Well, you let him walk?
You're going to let him walk? Right. And so they're not going to let him walk over this, but they definitely wouldn't. It seems sign it without this clause in there, which is why I said what I said. And yeah, I do think he's that incredibly talented. He is that incredibly talented. That's why the Cardinals bounced their draft choice 10th overall from the year before and bounced their coach. They went and done their coach so they can get a coach who could be paired with him and set him up for success. But something happened. And then when that happened, I just went back to this quote from the New York Times and came together, and that's where I said what I said. So now I just want to know why it's in there. And even Joe Banner, just to revisit what he said in hour 2, that sticks with me. He said, like, tying this to the bonus money means nothing because for that to actually really stick, you have to cut him. Like, that's the play to actually make this whole thing stick. And you're not going to cut him ever. So why have anything in there? Like, what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose? Like, how did it happen? And why? Of course we're going to sit there and think his work ethic is less than if the contract that you signed for your money is including this from the team. So now it's all been answered, asked and answered. He's done with it. Now he's on to football questions. I think he handled that expertly. If he had handled his moment at the Super Bowl before being drafted that well, I thought he clearly had a plan on what he's going to say here, and it was well crafted and terrifically delivered. And so you could see he was bothered by it, but he said it with a smile on his face. So now comes the what next, and it's on his shoulders.
Yeah, now just go win.
Now just go win. That's now it is. Now just go win.
That'll get all of us to stop talking about it.
Well, I mean, we are done talking about it. I mean, we'll make some independent study gags every now and then.
Yeah.
And
I just mean like more questions about can he get it done?
Well,
late season, kind of faltering, getting injured,
and
things like that.
But he is still going to have to turn on his team issue iPad. Like they're not taking the clause out just because it was an embarrassment for everybody. Like he's literally going to have to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think happens? Let's say he gets to 3.5 instead of 4 hours. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Does
nothing.
he get fined?
Nothing.
Does he have to sit out a game? Like so?
No. Like they're really going to start messing with his guaranteed dollars because he hasn't hit those 4 hours. That's the whole point. It's not enforceable. And what are we doing? Like, why did it happen? Right. How did it happen? And he signed it. I'm sure at some point, as I mentioned earlier, like they hire lawyers to do it, and thus it's in front of the agent who then has to explain to Kyler what's in there, unless he's just like, tell me, what are the money? What's the money? What's the dollars? Is it good? We're good? And sign it. And he doesn't read the rest of it. Is it ready for signature? And sign it. Did he not know it was in there? Is that possible?
Well, then that's on his agent.
I don't know. But did he not know it was in there?
I mean, I guess that's
because as Joe Banner said, everybody reads every contract. They all do. All general managers want to read it. Every agent wants to read it so they can study up on what's in there. Maybe they could use this. Maybe they could use that. They know that guy's getting that. So my client comes up. I know you're giving that to that guy. So my client comes up in a totally different, maybe same team, different team, but same division. Hey, what's fair is fair. That guy gets it. That's what I want. What do you think? Kyler Murray just magically got that much more annually than Deshaun Watson?
No.
Just out of just like, Eric Burkhart threw a dart at a board? No, he read Deshaun's contract. Right. So when that's being put in a contract, you know it's going to get out. Man, a 30 for 30 on this is going to be great.
But are NFL contracts like an inch thick, 20,000 words, or is it, or is it a sheet of paper, or is it like the iTunes thing where we just like scroll to the bottom and click accept?
Well, that could have been the way this happened. That could have been the way this happened.
Hey, let me sign. How much? What's the dollar number?
A lot of it is boilerplate, but a lot of it is also specific to a team.
Right.
Like this one. Man, if I was Kyler Murray, I'd be like, get that out of here. You want me here or not?
Right. You want me to sign what?
But he signed it, and now he's offended by it.